Is it the other way around? Are you leaving early or are you?
I didn't think I was going to make it,
Uh-huh.
but the meeting ended up getting canceled.
Oh, okay.
But I have to go to another meeting.
Right.
By 6, I have to leave at 6:15.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's only Hanukkah,
Yeah.
so it should be done. Eli and,
I was trying to make it.
okay. I thought Anita said she would too. So,
Well, I remember a lot.
yeah, I saw that too in email, Elias, yeah.
Done.
Good. Just been busy. I did Casanova Winterfest this past weekend. They won a big grant, and I came in and did all the vendor relations and booked all the story gardens and ice sculptures and all that. And then on Monday of last week, they're like, "Just kidding, it's going to be like 55 on Saturday." And so the ice sculptures still happen, and they were fine.
Yeah.
But the ice skating and the curling were like off the board, and that's what they put all like their effort towards. And like they put a billboard on 690 that said "Learn curling," and then it was 55 on Friday night and like 60 on Saturday afternoon. So there was just like a shell of like where it would have been, and I'm like, you still could have like done it if you had like really, I don't know, like yeah, or whatever, yeah, or
You can do it on
something.
gymnasium floors, can't you?
Yeah. Like I would have like shifted gears and put it someplace like that. It would be super cool.
Yeah, like
So they're
you
gonna
can
try to get,
do
you know.
eight ice cream.
Right. That's basically what it was. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was the residency there.
Well, it was an hour outside of Asheville.
Mhm.
But I spent the day in Asheville. They have public art.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So good.
That's great.
And I was walking around town, January,
Mm.
and there was like lots to see
not
and do.
Cool.
Untrue
Art
of
studios and
being
Killer.
elitist.
Oh, yeah.
they just had great little, they had big murals. But they also just had little,
Try something
little,
completely different.
little guys.
Interesting.
Some little guys all around.
I mean, that's like obviously the culmination. They've been doing it for a while.
Oh, yeah.
I think one of the other candidates brought it up as an example of good.
Think about if we can do
They're-
this internal.
What
We
would
should
they
really
think
look
about
at
that
them,
you're not?
especially
Well, I know,
since it
exactly.
made lots of
Yeah,
money in the city.
but so then
For growing the arts community, they have an arts district.
Yeah.
It's not, they have, it's all kind of on one side of the city, but it's super connected. Some
Excuse me.
people are acting like, you can't have arts
It's just-
district unless
there's-
everything is like, but it's kind of spread
spread
out,
out,
and it's
yeah.
not bad.
Yeah.
And
really
I drove
fascinating
around it. There's one area that's really dense with artist studios and spaces, but that was very similar to Delaware. You know what I mean? Like,
I got you.
like
excited.
that.
I mean, it's
No,
that
I
was
think
the-
it's
kind
exciting
of that
stuff.
concentration, and they built up cool stuff around there. So, and then you kind of get in your car. There
did
was a
this
path that connected it all along the riverfront, but it,
Do we have
you know, you
one,
have to,
two,
like,
three,
we're missing.
five? We're missing one person.
Elias said he'd be here,
Liz and Anita said
Anita.
she would be too.
so I imagine any minute.
But yeah, so that was part of it, but still, you had to drive.
Sure, yeah.
Super walkable
Yeah.
unless you took that path.
It's usually based upon like where the biggest
Yeah,
museum,
yeah.
Almost.
and then
It was mostly artist studios, though.
oh right.
Yeah, their whole arts
You know, the
district is
neighborhoods
artist
that are
studios.
just vast.
And that were open to the public, so each studio had like a gallery component to it. So the artists were showing their work as well as like
Yeah.
someone was there
And I thought this is
sort of managing.
So
there is not, there is nothing else of value.
I'm doing well.
Anyway, so,
I'm excited.
yeah, it should, and, so, sorry, thank
No,
you
it's
for
okay. I
handing
figured
everything out for
I
me.
figured I'd hand them out.
Yes, yeah,
Um,
and we do have a quorum now, so. Oops.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
And then the minutes.
It's your last
Yeah,
time.
there is. Shifting gears, you
Yeah,
know?
I know.
They, thank you.
And Mike, do you need a pen?
I have a pen.
That's
Yours.
mine.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're ready, we can start up and then they'll know to start the cameras.
All right. Yeah, ready to rock. They're on?
Yes,
Okay.
well, you see,
All right.
and just announce that we're beginning the meeting and then we'll start.
We are beginning the meeting.
Yeah, there we
everyone.
go, so you're calling it to order.
We're calling it to order. All right, calling to order the regular meeting, February 13th, 2024, here at Common Council Chambers for the Syracuse Public Art Commission. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We'll go right down the list here. Did everyone have a chance to review the minutes? There's a copy that Kate printed out as well in hand, if need be. This is my favorite part of the meeting. This is where I expect one of you to, thank you. Tina, excellent. Tina is the first, and Elias is the second, although in a very close third place would be Emmanuel. Very good. So we have some old/new business with
Which should be new business.
new. Okay,
Yes,
Okay.
I apologize.
that's
That-
okay.
That was clearly,
We had that in between last time with Annika here, but so something has changed in between. But so we'll move on to new business.
yes, that is new business. Yeah, that was my
And
fault.
SPAC 2401. This one's going to be good. How do you pronunciate it?
Oh, the piece
Yes.
is Makahi.
Okay, I was going to get it wrong, so I'm glad you said it. Makahia Crystal Z. Campbell. This is a UVP Lightwork Spring Exhibition. Annika is here representing UVP. Please talk to us a little bit about this particular piece.
Yeah, thank you so much, Michael John. So should I start it? And I don't.
Yeah, by all means.
We can adjust the volume.
And just so everyone knows, oh, that's a good question. There should be, I'll look for the volume. But just so you all know that the, Annika has sent an updated version of this too. So the one that was sent out in your packets
Oh, this is different, okay.
This is a little bit different, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go. You can actually physically. And then if it's physical on.
Two seconds ago.
There should be,
coverage, source audio, and source
You have it also on your computer too. I wonder if,
yeah, I can do that. Let's see.
Bring it up on the laptop.
You could synchronize it.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Do you want us to start it over again?
I feel it's like sufficiently nonlinear. I don't
Yeah.
think it's going to be a big deal.
Okay.
Michael, starting from the top.
Okay, great. There we go. Okay, so I'll leave it to play for a while before I start talking.
I thought I recognized that for a moment, yeah.
Scientists say the volcano is very unstable. They warn that the eruptions could get And finally, Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines erupted today with 3 thunderous explosions, sending a giant plume of ash 12 miles into the sky. Anyone within a 15-mile radius of the volcano is being urged to leave. Government officials say so far 20,000 people have heeded the warning and are packing evacuation centers.
Two volcanic eruptions from Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines. The night sky is illuminated with an eerie orange glow from thunderous explosions of ash and steam. Tribes whose ancestors have lived in the mountain for 2,000
The light again. Within minutes, the surrounding area was thrown into darkness by the vast cloud of ash and debris. This is the city of Olongapo at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's 25 miles from the volcano. The power's been cut, people queue for fuel, for lamps and generators. In the shadow of the mountain, it's raining mud. Wet ash covers everything. The rivers are brown, flowing under relic of the previous natural disaster, the earthquake a year ago. Under threat from the mud flow and ash cloud, hillside villages are evacuated. A number of tribesmen are reported buried under the mud.
Okay, so maybe I'll start talking now and take the volume down.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So this is for an application for exhibition of the piece Makahia by Crystal Z. Campbell, who is actually an artist who, as Emmanuel perhaps remembers, we actually had as part of a 2-person show a number of years ago, who came back this summer actually as part of, I didn't mention it in here, but I should probably say, an NISCA individual artist grant to create new work specifically for urban video projects. So they were in residence at Lightwork this past summer working on this piece. There will be a related event on Thursday, March 21st, 6 p.m. inside the Everson Museum Hosmer Auditorium, which will be a screening of a selection of short films by Crystal and a Q&A with them. So the piece for the proposal, Makahia, what you're seeing here is still a somewhat rough cut sound is being finalized and the image may be somewhat more manipulated, but basically this is the material. This was created for UVP, like I said. It's an original video. Let's see. Makahia is a Tagalog word that translates to shame or shyness, and it's the latest short by Campbell. It's rooted in botanical research on a plant that displays the unusual trait of thigmonesty. I'm not sure if I'm saying that quite right, but thigmonesty or touch-induced movement. And the plant that you see in the video, you've probably all seen this plant. It's kind of quite a famous plant. The Mimosa pudica is the actual scientific name of the plant, but the plant that you touch and it closes up its leaves. And that is actually colloquially or vernacularly known as the shame plant as well. So that's the kind of the connection there. So rooted in botanical research on a plant that displays the unusual trait of thigmonesty or touch-induced movement, Campbell's film is structured like intertwined vines. Digital video filmed on a recent trip to their mother's ancestral homeland in the Philippines mingles with hand-drawn animations, manipulated photographs, and archival news coverage of the 1991 eruption of Mount Pinatubo and its aftermath. Makahia explores the seemingly sentient plant's paradoxical identity from rampant invasive weed to medicinal plant, reflecting on photosynthesis, memory, and the violent colonial impetus of regimented forgetting. Makahia is an excerpt of Campbell's longer forthcoming film project, Postmasters. This body of work is drawn from Campbell's familial history, a black military father formerly stationed in the Philippines and Filipinx mother hailing from the archipelago, who both retired from the U.S. Post Office. Campbell explores both explicit and implicit traces of labor, landscape, love, and bodies as intimate agents, modes, and witnesses of empire ripe for decolonizing through the unraveling of sound, image, and cinematic time. Crystal Z. Campbell is a multidisciplinary artist, experimental filmmaker, and writer of Black, Filipinx, and Chinese descents whose work centers the underloved. Working through archives and omissions, Campbell finds complexity in public secrets, fragments of information known by many but undertold or unspoken. Select honors include a Creative Capital Grant, which is actually also funding this larger project, the Postmasters Project, Guggenheim Fellowship, Harvard Radcliffe Fellowship, Pollock Krasner Award, McDowell, Skowhegan, and Reichs Academy Fellowships, Whitney ISP. Campbell was also a featured filmmaker in the 67th Flaherty Film Seminar. Their works have screened or been exhibited at SF MoMA, Drawing Center, ICA Philadelphia, Artist Space in New York City, MoMA, and Block Museum, amongst other venues. Their short film Revolver received the Silver Hugo at the Chicago International Film Festival and was featured in the Berlinale Expanded Film Forum. They've also done 2 artist books with Visual Studies Workshop Press in Rochester, an organization I'm sure many of you are familiar with. And they've written for Garage, Hyperallergic, and Beacon Press, among others. And let's see, have a solo exhibition at St. Louis Art Museum, Rhine Fellowship, and they are currently an associate professor of art and media study at the University of Buffalo.
You timed it perfectly for the end. Well done.
Clearly. Excellent.
I can say that the second version made a lot more sense than the first version. So I was glad to see that. Yeah.
Discussion or questions, Veronica? As usual, she comes prepared. Excellent. May I hear a motion?
Motion to approve? Okay, yeah.
To approve. Yep. Thank
And
you,
Emmanuel.
Devana and Emmanuel with the second. All those in favor? Kindly raise your hand and keep them up. That's unanimous, Kate.
Okay, thank you. Yes, yeah.
Congratulations. Thank you, Annika. I just have one question.
Oh, yeah.
She did a couple years back, you said.
Yes.
Is there a select group of artists who have had that opportunity to do multiple projects with UVP?
Well, no, this is kind of a first time that we've had an artist back, and we've been kind of, it's kind of an unusual circumstance. As some of you may know, we opened up for the first time this year our commission process to proposals.
Yes, yeah.
So this was immediately prior to that. Crystal had moved to New York State for the first time, and there was a kind of opportunity to work with them through NISCA. And it had been 5 years. It was a group show. We definitely do think about spreading the opportunity,
Yeah.
but this seemed like a good chance to kind of deepen a relationship that
Awesome.
we already had.
Cool. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Annika. Yep.
That was new business.
Yeah, that was new business.
So now we'll move on to discussion. Tina Lady Z here has a City as Canvas update for us.
There's 2 remaining murals left in the City's Canvas initiative, and it's the Valley sector and the Lakefront sector. We have identified locations for each one. We will be voting on those this month. The Valley is tomorrow, Lakefront is February 28th. And the really interesting thing with the Lakefront sector is we are working with the Parks Department. I met with Josh Wilcox and Stephanie, and they proposed this to us, which the sector was totally on board with because they've been wanting to do something on the creek walk, but as we know, there's a lot of construction happening, and so we were, told, no, not here, no, not here, no, not here. So
They thought it was very difficult to
very
secure a
difficult.
building, yeah.
So what they had suggested was that we purchase, or actually Parks will purchase and own in the city's collection, these T-panels. And they want us to do up to 5 of these. They're about $500 in cost per section. And they're movable, which is good. So they're going to identify certain spots along the creek walk that the sector can then say, we want it here or there. And then it can be moved in the future if need be. But what's cool about this is that it's also double-sided, so we can do that. They also want them separated so that nobody can hide behind them.
Oh, gotcha.
So there's going to be some interesting placements of them. But these are 4 foot by 10 feet, and I think they can go bigger or smaller. But
Yeah.
That's pretty tall.
Substantial.
oh yeah, because it looks like the barriers in between the.
They're reminiscent
highways.
of the Berlin Wall behind the Moss Museum, actually.
Yeah,
That same
exactly.
style. The T-square was built so that someone could ram it, and it would lift the front of the vehicle so they couldn't ram the wall. It's a specific design to lift the front of the vehicle.
Interesting.
So if it smashed it,
Yeah.
they're impossible to break, basically.
Yeah, and these you cannot move them as a person.
Right,
so,
right.
That's another concern.
Which is good,
They
you know.
don't want them together, so they have to be spaced
Separate,
apart.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I actually really like that concept because if you go along the creek walk, it almost draws you to explore a little further. And so the double-sided is actually quite
Yeah.
interesting too.
And so I think they want to expand this in the future. So, something to think about.
Well, it'd be interesting if parks could think about, sometimes they put up those temporary barriers, car barriers and other
Oh,
things
right.
into different parks. And rather than just having those giant concrete square cubes.
Slabs, yeah.
To
Jersey
have something
barriers
that's a
and-
little bit more finished that,
Um,
anyway.
Yeah, have a sculptor.
It would,
Or-
Lakefront will be the last
Yeah, or
one?
it could be that, yeah.
So,
Valley.
yeah, Valley's going to be first.
Okay.
And then I'm going to stagger them a little bit. So it'll be Valley and then Lakefront. And so what I'm going to give, a good amount of time for the RFPs to come in. And I'm anticipating May and June to have the last 2 approved by the SPAC. So we're going to have to hopefully, if we need to combine them, so be it, but.
Sure.
Yeah.
The spreading out of the image across multiple is actually a really cool
Yeah,
piece.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
exciting. And then the Valley, so that's going to be at 4702, I think, is the location. We had a hard time with that sector too. But the guy that owns the building is
Self-alignment.
David Hills, and he was a part of SNUG at one point. He's on the mayor's anti-gun violence initiative. He wants to turn the building into a community youth center programming place. I don't think he quite has the concept nailed down, but it's something involving the community and the youth. So really great, really awesome guy. I think great idea. So when we would be improving the building, which needs a lot of love right now, so that's a good one. But I have one more thing too. Michael Calabrese had gotten a CNY Arts grant to start documenting the City of Canvas murals, and I think he got 5 or 6? No, 5. He got 5
We got
of them.
5,000 to do the 3 that we did last summer
Oh, okay.
from CNY Arts.
Right,
Yeah.
so, okay, so I thought anyway. So we want to continue for him to document the last 2 for visual cohesion. And so we're going to TNT is contracting with him to finish that out and then produce, I think we had talked about in here, the little 1-minute videos with QR codes on each one. And then we would share that with the Public Art Commission so that we can, pump up the public art in the city.
Yeah.
And then we're
And-
going to make an overall TNT video talking about the program. So,
Oh, like a mini doc.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll have a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, optimally speaking, something that we had talked about, Kate, that was in the, like, down the road was once all City's Canvas had been done, the way that we're creating new markers for public art pieces, the hope was to be able to create markers with QR codes on them for these videos, so like Black Cub and Cayetano.
So we're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
I actually reached out to Black Cub and I
Okay,
asked
cool.
them for the footage so that we could, because Michael didn't document the first one.
Right.
So
right.
I asked Black Cub if we could get that footage and they're totally amicable about that. They're like, yeah, absolutely.
Great.
So we can hopefully piece together something from that. And then, we're gonna go back, interview the artists. So we'll really produce something rich in content.
One-on-ones, yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yep. So, and that's all I got. Oh, one more thing too, actually. We're trying to get funding for a couple more murals. So that's in the process too. And I can't give you any details on that yet because we're still kind of sorting through the application and stuff, but 2 more potentially later this year, yeah.
Excellent, thank you, Tina. Staff transition update.
I'm still here. I'm very happy to see you all. I can report that the interviews are complete.
Yep.
Had an excellent group of candidates, and it's really now up to the Parks Department to make the final decision and work through personnel. So we are working at a municipal pace, and
Indeed.
hopefully we'll.
Over the next 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, I would think in the next, certainly before, I keep saying this, before the next meeting, but absolutely before the next one.
Say again. Yeah, I was about to explain the process because, and hi, by the way, I see you're taking notes. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so the quick version is the Cliff Notes version, and then we can contact you later, an email and stuff like that, is that Kate has been the part-time public art coordinator of the city since 2009.
9.
And recently, by negotiating some things, Kate has moved into a different realm, one that she's always really.
Yeah, so what's happened is they had paired both the preservation planner position as well as the public art coordinator position as one. And this past year, the administration and Common Council also agreed that both the preservation planning and the public art coordinator position really need to be each full-time. So I am cycling out, and the city is in the process of hiring a new public art coordinator who will be housed in the Parks Department.
Yep.
So if you need more backstory, I can help you with that. Yeah.
It will be a full-time role that's budgeted under Parks and Rec, remaining in that department. And over the past 2 weeks, we've taken 35 candidates down to 7 or 8 and interviewed them live on Microsoft Teams and Tony and Chris at Parks, the commissioner and deputy commissioner and company are kind of in like round 2 to take all those candidates, and we should know within the next few weeks who the new full-time public art coordinator of the city is going to be. And there's some exciting news that comes along with that. Besides being the full-time role, there's money in the coffers for to the tune of about $35K for matching grants. So as we move forward with the role in a kind of like a hybrid role of like admin and some different things, there's actually some opportunity there for us to continue programs and kind of cross-pollinate all the arts programs. So it's an exciting time. And then to speak to it, we actually, to be honest with you, 35 was a very large number when we heard it. We could not actually believe that that many people had, quickly applied. And
Were there many from beyond?
the candidates were narrowed down, and then honestly, all the candidates were insanely overqualified. It was really fun to to be able to interview each of them, and so now we're in that secondary stage where we find out over the next few weeks. Kate and I removed ourselves from the process now moving forward, as it's up to kind of Commissioner Tony and Parks to really choose who's going to be in their office and under them. And then obviously they're going to take the role of the public art coordinator, but luckily Kate is still
Lurking.
yeah. And so we'll be able to call upon her for counsel if needed, so.
Were the candidates mostly mostly local? Or?
A mix, but all of them had some sort of ties to Central New York, many of which, in order to be a city employee, you must live within the city limits, so that was one of the items that came up, and 90% were ready to do that immediately, or already were living in the city limits. It's also noteworthy that 2 current SPAC members are a part of the process, so we have to carefully navigate this next stage, because if one of them gets hired, it means we immediately have an opening for a new member here, right? But we're excited to see where this position leads, and being able to start off freshly with some funding and stuff is really interesting, really cool. So there it is. Yeah. There's a lot of the candidates also during the interviews had some interesting concepts and ideas that came to the table, and we recorded each interview. Ruth Nee from the communications
I
department.
think that's enough detail.
Okay.
Right there. Okay, thank you.
And so we're happy to see who gets the role, and we're very hopeful to be able to work with this person to continue programs similar to City as Canvas and really up the ante of public art in the city. So, cool beans. Okay.
All right.
Very good. And thank you, Kate, for being amenable to the transition period too, and obviously helping with the
Yeah, that's no worries.
council until then.
Very happy to.
Yeah.
Get the yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you have any questions, we can exchange contact afterwards, and Kate and somebody, we can all answer them in group form. But I think that does it for tonight. Thanks, everyone. And
A motion to adjourn.
yes, thank you. Tina?
I was just gonna, Tina, do you have a show coming up?
I do.
Do you want to mention that? Just
Oh, plug.
because.
Sure. Yeah, so I had a show last fall, which, worked with Shoshama and Michael John to do. And then this woman named Daniela, she went to the show, and she actually has a little gallery space on North Salina Street.
Yeah.
And she came to it, and she wanted me to come and view the space, and then offered me a show. And I said, okay, absolutely, why not? So I have a short film I filmed with actually Elias back in 2010 in Nova Scotia. I had an artist residency. It's my post-apocalyptic future world. So that's going to show. It hasn't been seen in a long time. And afterwards, we are going to do experimental music night, which, you know, we did back in the fall too. Had a lot of people coming. A lot of people were like, yes, we need this kind of thing in Syracuse. So that's going to happen. And it will also be a semi-40th birthday bash for me. So just plugging that in there.
And that will be March
March
the
9th. From 6 to 10 at 701 North Salina Street. So, yeah.
And the experimental music thing is open to,
Oh, yeah, it's open to anybody bringing a sound device.
or if you just show up and you want to play with
We've
something
got
that's
stuff.
there, you can just pick up an instrument and play.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds
All right, now you may adjourn the meeting. I just want, yeah, okay.
Love it.
Tina,
I motion to adjourn.
okay.
Yeah.
And second,
Okay.
Elias, thank you.
Thanks very
Meeting
much.
adjourned.
Yeah,
Thank you, everyone.
thanks.
Eli, Kate, a friend of mine, is a photography journalism major, and she's a grad student and writes for